Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do your October the 30th Spiritual Principle a Day in a meditation. The title of the meditation is Contemplating the Gift of Grace. Each day we are faced with new challenges, and each day, through working our program of recovery, we are given the grace to meet those challenges. That comes from the Just for Today, Meeting the Day's Challenge, May 27th. Life is beautiful, and we may experience immense joy and serenity and love and all that good stuff, but it ain't easy. What addict will argue with that point? However, by getting and staying clean in NA, we develop the competence to deal with life on its own terms. Those terms refer not only to immense life-changing events, but also to daily changes that arise in work, family, and relationships. Ideally, meeting those challenges involves acceptance of our limited power, the courage to act in spite of this, and surrendering to the result. We do this with the gift of grace. For some of us, the challenge we experience with grace is its intangibility. We don't really know what it is or where this gift is coming from, but maybe we don't have to fully understand grace to receive it. Many of us are reluctant to use grace in our everyday language about recovery. We may bristle at its religious undertones, given that it's most often paired with God, as in God's grace. What if we don't conceive of our higher power as an almighty giver of gifts like grace, or staying clean, or life itself? Members who hold more traditional conceptions of a higher power may find it easier to accept the gift of grace. The rest of us may hesitate, especially if we feel ill-equipped to define a gift we're supposed to be getting and then complicate matters by obsessing about the source of this gift. Perhaps we can look at NA itself as the source of the gift of grace because it teaches us to surrender, be humble, and act with integrity. In essence, the program shows us how to live in accordance with our values. We can achieve a state of grace by striving to do just that. Today, I will put grace into action by approaching life's challenges with integrity and being grateful for the opportunity to do so. Even if I don't fully understand the gift of grace, I will accept it anyway. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. This is a beautiful meditation contemplating the gift of grace, and I'm very much aware that there are individuals that don't hold the traditional understanding of a higher power, and they still get along just fine in recovery, right? They're able to manage staying clean, manage when life happens, manage applying spiritual principles to their lives and situations just fine. And I think I understand the reason for that. Because having, in my opinion, having life itself, right? Having the gift of grace, the gift of being human, which brings the right to certain treatment as a human being. meaning that you can't go around just killing other human beings and not expect to pay the price, right? I'm keeping it at its most simplest form. So don't run ahead of me. Stay right here with me, right? There's some things that as a human being, we all benefit from, regardless to whether you have a higher power or not, right? I believe the gift of grace is one of those things that people that may not have the traditional understanding of a higher power, meaning that they may not be able to say, by God's grace, I woke up today. Maybe that's not, they can't say that, right? Because they don't believe in God. So what I have found is that there are certain things that come or should come, right, naturally as a result of being a human being on this earth. Dignity, grace to be able to make mistakes and benefit from learning from them. The grace to make a mistake is a gift, right? Love is another one. How about this? I'm using a lot of it right now to talk. Oxygen, breath, right? There's some things as a result of being a human being. If you could see me, I speak a lot with my hands, right? So I'm making gestures. I have 5 fingers on each hand, 5 fingers on each foot. 5 toes on each foot, right? Not fingers. Hopefully they're not fingers on my foot, right? So I'm in a position where I can say I have all of these benefits of being a human being. No one has taken my breath away. No one has amputated my hands or my feet, right? And to those that have fallen ill and had to have that happen, my compassion goes with you, because I can't imagine not having some of these things that we all have. Sight is one thing, right? I can smell, I can taste food, I can hear relatively well, not perfectly, but I have these things. And I personally attribute them to God's grace. But I also know that people that have no God also have the same things that I have in many respects. And where they place that gift as coming from, it's completely up to them. It's not even my concern. That's why I can agree with this meditation. Here in particular, I'll highlight it for you. The rest of us may hesitate, especially if we feel ill-equipped to define a gift we're supposed to be getting, and then complicate matters by obsessing about the source of the gift. That right there says it all. Because a lot of times I believe as addicts, we complicate matters. We make things worse. We want to make sure we know the ins and outs and the whys, right? And I think that comes from our having trained ourselves to live on the edge and not to trust anything or anyone, and that nothing is really truly free. It comes from what I believe I would call survival instincts from being out there using on a daily basis. And so we bring that into the program and we're like, man, no, the gift of life isn't even free. There's certain requirements that come with it. We start to contemplate and ruminate on certain things that really are very time consuming, energy depleting, and gratitude robbing, right? And I like that word, gratitude robbing. We tend to complicate things with our thoughts, wanting to know the ins and outs of everything. Okay, so I got a gift of grace. Well, who gave me the gift of grace? Well, quite naturally, because it is a old adage, the grace of God, right? Or God's grace for a person to go directly to religion. But there's no need for you to do that because, as it states here, Narcotics Anonymous, consider Narcotics Anonymous as the source of that grace. Because in actuality, me sitting here with you and you sitting with me and listening, it's a direct result of Narcotics Anonymous and the principles, the way of living that I've learned as a result of being in this program, which is spiritual, not religious. And if you can just land it there and allow it to stay there, you will find yourself being more able to embrace the grace that you've been given. It's just like the gift of desperation. There's a gift of grace as well, right? So enjoy it. Why not? My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose and enjoy the grace that you've been given.